1. Have you ever seen the warnings on hand sanitizers that say, "Do not ingest"? 2. Nearly every clothes iron in the US carries a label that says, "Do not iron clothes while wearing them." I'm guessing there are a few stories behind that warning. 3. In Marshalltown, Iowa, horses aren't allowed to eat fire hydrants. I'd love to know what made that a law. 4. I worked at an office where one guy decided to take his lunch break at 4 p.m. every day just so he could leave early. The manager told him to stop, so he stopped taking lunch breaks Monday through Thursday. But on Friday, he took all 5 lunch breaks at once and left at noon. Afterward, the manager assigned specific lunch hours for everyone. If you didn't take lunch during your designated time, you didn't get one. It felt like the most ridiculous rule ever. Miraculously, that rule vanished after he was fired a few months later. By the way, we were a customer-facing team, so we needed to ensure coverage for walk-ins, phone calls, and appointments. I doubt the manager would have cared if we took lunch at any other time if that wasn't the case. A colleague found a way to exploit the overtime bidding system to maximize his hours, causing complaints from others who were left with little overtime to sign up for. The rules were adjusted 4 or 5 times, and each time, he figured out a new loophole. Eventually, they started skipping his overtime requests and set a limit on how many overtime hours someone could work per month. He complained about that for months, saying he wasn't getting 20 hours of overtime a week anymore. 6. One memorable rule was the "no food in the computer lab" policy. Thankfully, I wasn't the one who spilled soda all over the equipment. Sometimes, someone's mistake leads to valuable lessons for everyone. 7. We have to keep the loading dock doors closed at work because someone thought it would be a shortcut. We have a long loading bay where trucks back up several lengths inside, and one lady tried to drive straight through. She hit the dock, ruining both her car and the huge steel dock plate. Now, no matter how hot it gets, the doors have to stay closed. 8. Texas no longer allows last meal requests after one person made an extraordinary request. 9. I worked at a place where Post-it notes were banned. Someone once wrote an important note and stuck it on another person's desk, but it fell off. 10 decades ago, I was shopping for a Lego table at a toy store. I found a flat box for a Lego table with a picture of 2 kids sitting at it, fully assembled. The label read, "I kid you not, children not included." 11. It gives me a stomachache just thinking about it, but those signs at the Hoover Dam warning people not to place their dogs on the railing. How many puppies fell into the Hoover Dam for that sign to exist? 12. Employees must wear proper undergarments. As the manager at the time, I was part of many conversations that led to this rule. No see-through pants with no underwear, bras showing, or underwear visible through clothing. I think I've seen it all. I had to counsel several employees about appropriate professional attire. 13. Doritos have smooth edges due to some people's poor chewing habits. 14. An operator in a power plant's control room was caught sleeping during his shift. The rule that followed banned any form of napping or sleeping anywhere on site, whether on breaks, at lunch, at your desk, in your office, or even in your car during lunch. And to top it off, your office door had to remain open at all times to show you were working. They could have just banned sleeping in the control room, but that would have singled him out. 15. Warning labels on Halloween costumes. This cape does not grant the ability to fly. 16. Engine oil label, not for human consumption. Thanks, Fast and the Furious. I used to work in a cafeteria for a school district, and we got 10 PTO days a year. One year, a coworker decided to take an 8-day cruise during the second to last week of the school year. The next year, no time off except for medical emergencies during the final month of school. 18. As a photographer, one of my new event photography clients gave me a list of instructions, including do not take close-up shots of our employees' low-cut shirts. I couldn't help but wonder which photographer had done that before. 19. The do not put your hand under a running lawnmower rule came about after a guy back in the 90s tried using his lawnmower to trim hedges. He turned it on and tried lifting it by the deck, losing all his fingers in the process. He successfully sued Toro Co. for not warning people about putting body parts near a high-speed, sharp metal blade. 20. We recently had a policy change regarding badge reels at work because someone at another hospital wore one with inappropriate humor. Instead of telling them to change it, they made a policy that only badges with the system's name could be worn. It didn't matter that 99.9% of us wore fun and appropriate ones. Everyone was punished because of one person's dark humor, which should have been kept out of public view. 21. At an old job, there was a rule against hanging off pipes because someone tried doing chin-ups on them, pulling the pipes out of their brackets and flooding the whole building. 22. In one country, full face covering bike helmets were banned because shoplifters started using them to hide their faces. The no drinking at work rule at my job came about because of me, back when I was an alcoholic. It wasn't an official rule before, as everyone just assumed it wasn't allowed. Now, it's written in the employee handbook. I'm a change agent. 24. My college now includes a rule in the student handbook that charcoal grills are not allowed in dorm rooms. 25. You can no longer take photos in the ossuary at Kutna Hora because someone took pictures of themselves kissing and doing other things around the bones. 26. The rule about taking shoes off at airport security came about after a man tried hiding a small explosive in his sneaker. Thank goodness he didn't hide a bomb elsewhere. 27. At our theater, we had to make a no throwing tools rule. You'd think that would be obvious, but apparently common sense isn't so common anymore. 28. If you climb on the rails of a cruise ship, you could be banned for life. 29. At my previous workplace, they sent a company-wide email to about 50 stores, banning carrier bags from the warehouse because someone slipped on one and broke their leg. The truth? She broke her leg because we were roller skating in the warehouse and slipped on a bag. But we put "slipped on a bag" in the accident report because we didn't know what else to say.